8 interesting things about quiet people. Let's have a look at the 8 interesting facts about quiet people that most people don't know. 1. Quiet people tend to be better listeners. Quiet people are often better listeners. They tend to be more empathetic and understanding of the feelings of others, making them more likely to listen when someone else is talking. This can be helpful in a variety of situations. 2. They are more sensitive to the world around them. Quiet people are more sensitive to the world around them than others. They notice things that other people don't and are more likely to be aware of their surroundings. They also tend to notice small details, which helps them understand other people better and make better decisions in life. Another interesting fact about quiet people is that they pay more attention to how their bodies feel when something happens or changes around them rather than focusing on external stimuli, like music or sound levels at work. This makes quiet people an ideal person for those who have trouble concentrating due to constant distractions, e.g., loud music. 3. They are more creative. You might be surprised to learn that quiet people are more likely to be artists, musicians, and writers. In fact, many studies have shown that introverts tend to be more creative than extroverts. This is because they tend to think more before speaking and writing. They also have a better understanding of the world around them, since they spend more time observing things rather than participating in conversations or activities with others. In addition to being creative thinkers, quiet types are good at problem solving because they don't usually engage in small talk with other people in order to get along with them. Instead, they prefer doing their own thing rather than joining in conversations about current events or politics, which tend not only to make listening difficult, but also involve too much talking. 4. They prefer one-on-one conversations rather than large groups of people. It's no secret that quiet people don't like small talk. They are more interested in the substance of a conversation rather than just making sure they have their place in a group. This can make it difficult for them to get along with those who prefer talking only about themselves or their own interests. Quiet people tend to prefer one-on-one conversations rather than large groups of people. When you ask them how they feel about a group activity, their answer is likely to be something along the lines of "I don't like being the center of attention." They are more comfortable with smaller groups and tend not to enjoy being in charge or leading others. They also love listening before speaking themselves, which makes for interesting conversations when you're talking with someone who likes listening as much as talking. 5. They can come across as shy, but they're just observing before they jump in. You might think that quiet people are shy, but they're not. They can come across as shy, but they're just observing before they jump in. Quiet people are more likely to be introverts than extroverts and tend to be more creative and sensitive than the average person. They also tend to be private people who don't like being in large crowds or socializing much at all unless it's necessary for work or school. 6. They are slow to anger, but when they get there, watch out. Quiet people are more likely to be thoughtful and sensitive, but they're also less likely to get angry or frustrated quickly. They may have trouble expressing their emotions at first because they're not used to showing them in public or in front of other people. This can make them seem cold or uncaring. But don't let that fool you. Quiet people can be patient when it comes time for an apology or explanation. Introverts just take longer than extroverts do when it comes to making up after a conflict has occurred between two parties or even just one. 7. They are more likely to have a handful of close friends than many acquaintances. Quiet people are more likely to have a handful of close friends than many acquaintances. There are several reasons for this, but one main reason is that quiet people tend to be very loyal and trustworthy. They also do not believe in gossip and other types of hurtful talk, which means they don't spread negative things about others. Another reason why quiet people are so loyal is that they enjoy being around those who make them happy. 8. They tend to do well in leadership roles. Think Abraham Lincoln. You may have heard that Lincoln was a quiet person. But did you know that he was also a good leader? He had a knack for listening, writing, and speaking. He was an excellent listener because he didn't interrupt others or talk over them. He let everyone else finish what they were saying before speaking himself. His writing skills were also impressive. He had many essays published during his lifetime that expressed his thoughts on politics and other things, including one about how people in power should be humble. As for speaking, well, let's just say that while some people may not be able to speak eloquently under pressure, there are plenty of examples from history where someone with no formal education has managed to stand up in front of crowds and make an impact on their listeners' lives, like Abraham Lincoln.